Aloha fam, Mr. Micah Bang here at Select Shots. Welcome back to the channel. Recently, I just got back from my trips to South Korea and Japan, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who wished me safe travels. It was a trip that I'll never forget, and I urge everyone, if you can, get out there, get out of your comfort zone, and experience the world, experience new cultures. It's something you won't regret. So again, thank you. Secondly, I wanted to say a big thanks to everyone who stopped by the channel to check out my newly released travel vlog series. The series started in San Francisco and it continued in Asia. And yeah, I just appreciate everyone who swung by the channel to check those out. And those vlogging videos are a lot of fun to make. And as this channel grows, I hope to add more and more videos to that playlist. And I hope that the quality will increase video by video. So again, thank you for checking those out. If you haven't gotten a chance to check those videos out, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description below and a link to the playlist up here. So moving on, let's get into this video today. I wanted to share with you my setup that I used for the trip and for all those vlogging videos. I wanted to just go over the camera I used, the gimbal I used, the lens that I used, and the audio system that I used. And at the very end, I'll share two kind of travel hacks for a travel vlogger that made my life a whole lot easier while traveling in Asia. So let's go over my camera system. The whole trip, like I said, was shot on this Sony a7 IV. I paired it with a Sigma 28 to 70 millimeter zoom lens. This is the contemporary lens here. And on top of the lens is a 2 to 5 stop neural density filter by Freewell. And the audio system that I decided to use was not a shotgun mic, but actually just a lavalier microphone system by Synco. And it's the Synco G2. And I'll get into how I use that system shortly. But the last item that I actually used for the trip is a gimbal. And not my Weeble S, but I actually picked up the Xeon Crane M3. Now, let me tell you right now that if I had brought my Weeble S, things would have been a lot different. So I'm super glad that I took some time to research this Crane M3 and took this on the trip with me. Made my life a whole lot easier from switching to handheld to gimbal shots. This thing is lightweight and super portable, and yeah, it was a lot of fun to work with. Now let's get into the two hacks that made my life as a videographer a whole lot easier, especially while lugging around a big backpack filled with my fiance's things, some of my things, a jacket, portable battery packs, water bottle. My backpack was filled, and if you know me at all, I try to travel as light as possible, bring as little as I need, but capture as much as I can. So this setup definitely helped maintain that ergonomics that I was going for. And yeah, so let's get into those hacks. So when out there in the field, for me anyways, I'm a photographer and a videographer, so I like to capture both when I can. So being able to switch from handheld shots to gimbal shots was something very important. And this gimbal is really easy. The quick release plate system is super easy to work with, but I actually took it a step further for me to get those a seamless transition from handheld to gimbal shots by installing one of these. It's a Peak Design quick release plate, and that allowed me to attach the gimbal onto my backpack, and instead of having to swing my backpack around and dig it out of my bag. So the gimbal sat just like this most of the time. In areas where I thought that I would need a gimbal, this is how the gimbal would sit on my backpack. Yeah, it does look a little funny, but let me tell you, when you want a gimbal shot, especially in if there's something moving or you might miss something, it was super easy to go from handheld. So from handheld, I'd be like, oh, video shot, boom. You unlock your gimbal, you slide your camera on, and then you're good to go with a gimbal shot. So that is my first travel kind of vlogging hack that I got for you. Again, it does look funny, but let me tell you, it definitely saved me from having to swing my bag around and get my gimbal out of there, or even ask my fiance, hey, can you grab my gimbal out of my bag? So definitely made that a whole lot easier. The second thing that I wanted to share with you was what I did for my audio. So if you know what the transmitters, for those portable lavalier microphones look like, they look like this, and they're like little small units like this. And okay, usually they would clip onto your shirt, or they would clip onto you can clip on to the bag. But I was worried about these getting lost as I was swinging my bag around, or if I set my bag down. I was worried that it would, come off and I would lose it. So what I actually did was run the wire of the lavalier mic through my bag, up the side of my bag and down the strap, and I parked the lavalier mic. I don't know if I'll zoom in and show you some B-roll of it, but I zoomed it. I clipped the mic up right here, close to my mouth, so it made narrating and capturing audio, at least for my voice, really easy. The thing about that, the only downside to that setup is that it only really captures your audio, or like your voice, anything that's kind of in your vicinity, like directly in front of you, really easily. Say if like my fiance was behind me and I asked her a question, it was really hard to hear her voice, or anyone behind me or like that. Or I would say past like 2.5 feet or 3 feet from that microphone, or this vicinity in front of me, it was definitely hard to hear them in the audio. So I think I will find a smaller shotgun mic or something, just to get better travel vlogging video audio. So those are my two hacks for the trip. If you are a travel vlogger, that could work for you if you're just doing a lot of narrating, especially for the audio part. If you are doing a lot of narrating yourself and you're not really talking to other people, then yeah, that lavalier mic trick is definitely a must. And the quick release plate for your gimbal. And yeah, so those are my two little travel hacks while vlogging. And like I said, this channel is going to continue to grow, and I'll figure more hacks out along the way. But I just wanted to share with you my experience using this setup, and my experience, making travel vlog videos for the first time. And if you are wondering about the Crane M3, I will tell you this about the weight load, because I think that's a big question everyone has about the Crane M3. I'll make sure to post the numbers for this setup right here on the screen so you can see. But I would say if your weight load comes anywhere up to close to 1,100 grams, you should be good to go on the gimbal. And anything above that, you might experience some flaws. So maybe I'll just go into those right now. So here's the two things that the two issues that I ran into with the Crane M3 while I was there in Asia. So the first thing being the quick release plate. While it is convenient to be able to slide your camera on and off really quickly, the quick release plate is a long plate that runs parallel to the base of your camera, and it actually blocks the camera battery door. So it's like if you ran out of battery, you'd have to undo that plate, slide it out of the way, change the battery, and then reposition the plate in the correct place. I actually just marked off like a little bit with like a mechanical pencil, just marked off and made a notch so that way I can line up the base of the camera and the base of the base plate, so that way it's always in the same spot. So that kind of helped. But yeah, that battery door base plate blockage, no bueno. The second thing that I ran into was with my filter on the weight load, it bumps my weight load up to 1,189 grams. So just pushing 1,200 grams. And let me tell you that I did experience some issues, not with the axes or the motors. The motors actually do support that weight load. It was more so the lock on this axis in particular. For some odd reason, the weight load was just heavy enough to where it was causing fatigue in that lock, and every now and then the lock would just kind of self-lock itself. And when you're moving up and down or side to side, whenever the axis kind of pass or gets back to its lock point, it would just lock itself, and then I'd have to unlock it and then retake the shots. So, you know, when you're pushing 1,200, 1,189 grams, I would say be careful. You are going to run into some issues in terms of the lock itself, not the axes. The motors actually does support it, but it's just the lock. And the way that I troubleshooted that while there in my trip was I actually just broke a piece of toothpick off, jammed it in the lock, and then I was good to go for the rest of the trip. Yeah, I did have a piece of toothpick sticking out of my gimbal for the rest of the trip, but it definitely solved the issue. So, which leads me to my next point. I think this gimbal was great for the purpose that I wanted it for. It definitely made shooting a lot easier, but for those two reasons, I did have to get rid of it. And yeah, I'm planning to get rid of it, and I'm actually gonna grab the Crane M3S that's coming out, and yeah, so I'll make sure to do a video on that coming very soon. But unfortunately, the Crane M3, it's got to go. And because for the price point for the M3S versus the M3, you should probably just wait, save up 20, 30 extra dollars and get the M3S. But other than that, that is my travel vlog setup for the Asia trip. Sony a7 IV, Sigma 28 to 70 millimeter lens, Freewell neural density filter, and the Crane M3. Definitely a great setup. And yeah, max weight load 1,189 grams, give or take. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Stay tuned for new content coming soon. Like I said, the video on the Crane M3S is coming soon, so stay tuned. All right, until the next time, shoot!